What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Huddle. We're back from TISE, and we got Daniel and Jose with me as always. And I just want to come out of the gate with talking about how excited we were to exhibit at TISE and kind of have an opportunity to meet some people. The Huddle is all about keeping your business, your flooring business moving forward. So forward progress. My intro every week is about the same, but this one I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just an intro that gets said and not understood. So, in essence, we're trying to bring value to our community, to as installers, flooring professionals, and really, if you find the content that we talk about and share here, we don't run any ads. We don't plan on running any ads anytime soon. Consider giving us a like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're watching it on one of the other platforms, comments and likes on those platforms help this message get out to more. People are on the lookout. I get asked all the time for my advice, and I give it freely here. And I know these guys do too. They get asked all the time about certain things from other flooring professionals, and we just freely give it here. So consider liking and subscribing. With that said, again, we come at you every Tuesday to help you maintain forward progress in your flooring career, no matter where you're at. Whether you're an installer or a flooring company or, a manufacturer or a sales rep, if you're watching this, you're going to get insight on all the inner workings of, we all three started installing. That's where we started. So we have that knowledge. We've subcontracted from other flooring companies. We have that knowledge. I believe all three of us were, or at least I know two of us were employee installers at one point. So we got that background. And then we all three own flooring companies now. So, and employee installers and subcontractors. So there's a good amount of experience and knowledge that we've garnered over the years. And what's even more special is we have a good network of people that we tap into and ask them questions and get feedback from them. So if you have any questions, participate in the podcast by asking, asking or commenting on the video. So that being said, this week we just got back from TISE. It was really exciting time. It was our first time as Go Carerra exhibiting at the show, so that was pretty special. It was really cool, and the show was back to what I remember 2019 being really busy, people being engaged, wanting to, gain knowledge on how they can improve their situation, whether it's like I said, a manufacturer or distributor. We talked to the full swath of people that are involved in the flooring career or the flooring industry, whether they're, like I said, I talked to a bunch of sales reps that would come by, talk to some tech reps, talk to manufacturers. It was just a fun time, even hanging out, afterwards and just chatting it up. And I know you guys, we hung out a lot, but what was your guys' favorite part of TISE?
It's always the people for me. So it's hard to pinpoint a favorite part because every day there's one thing that stands out, right? So I return for the people. I'll be honest, I could care less for Vegas because it's super busy, right? But I go back for the people, and every year I go back, it's something different. This year, there was a lot of personal connections made, right? You go there for business, but man, was there a lot of personal connections made this time, and that leads to better business. So I'm looking forward to see what everything turns into.
Yeah, it was more busy this year, I thought, since we didn't have anyone, baby sister wasn't in the competition, I wasn't. We were going to have more time to to like do stuff, and it's like kind of neglected the competition. Kevin's saying that it was good talking with all of us last week, and it was awesome. We went live for a little bit and showed kind of what was going on over there, and I think in the future we'll probably do a little bit more of that kind of thing, even just walking around and maybe talking to people. But we were on the fence this year because we didn't know how much we were able to show and how much they didn't want us to. But after talking to them after this year's, it's pretty much you guys get to do whatever you want. Like
well, I think they want you guys to show. I would assume they want people to show the experience because I it's hard to explain if you're not there. I know that we were going to try during the podcast and we cut the feed a little early, but if you just, it was fun doing the podcast from there too. That was pretty awesome, Jim and Kay.
Unscripted.
I sent all the audio earlier. I'm hoping it's good enough. I kind of listened to a little bit and I could hear it pretty good, but Ashlyn will be the judge of that.
Well, we'll do the best we can to clean it up but yeah, that was fun but what I'm getting at is it's hard to really experience it. So unless you get to see how massive it is and how many people are there and all the different parts of the industry that are represented from importers to the installer, like from the time the product's made in Italy or wherever, all the way to the installers. And it seemed like there was a lot more installers there too. I don't know if that was just me, but it seemed like we had more of the installation community. So that was awesome.
It was, and you're getting a lot more of the guys on the technical side and stuff actually, going over to that side. So it's good to see that. But also you have like the union that was a part of it. They had 4 apprentices there doing some sheet vinyl, and one of the kids, they're like, this kid is only 19 years old, and
he was doing a good job.
Yeah,
like,
he was probably one of the best ones in there. And it's like
that's awesome. Where was that at?
Oh man,
was that in their booth or was that?
Yeah, it was in their booth. They had like their trailer set up, and then they had 4 pods set up, and everyone in there kind of working and doing the same thing on the sheet vinyl. And it was like, this is awesome. There needs to be more of this, because it's not just the unions that are doing stuff like this, right? So, I mean, that's a conversation with some of the other organizations to maybe, hey, not only do you have a competition, but maybe we can bring in some newcomers and just have them, compete against themselves. It's not even for anything. It's just, and it doesn't even have to be that. It could be, we could do some sheet vinyl demonstrations and stuff like that. I mean, we don't do hard tile, so that's always something that kind of fascinates me. So I actually went to a couple of they had some educational classes about it, and it's like, oh, this is about mosaics. I wanna learn a little bit about mosaics, and there's, it was awesome, the information that they were giving out, and it's something that, it's free.
Yeah.
It's free when you're walking around. I mean, it's free, right? You're already there.
You paid an entry, right? But there's things
you've already paid to be there. You get all the benefits.
Let's get your money's worth. Let's go and learn as much as you can. And it's like some of that stuff that they were talking about, I was like, man, I never really thought of that, because I never.
We ought to do like a sheet vinyl floor with wall tile, and just have some Go Carerra guys come in, and someone on the network come in and do the sheet vinyl, and then someone on the network do the tile live, just right in our booth. Because I think we're going to do a 10 by 20 next year.
That's a good idea. You can go live and say, hey, guess what? We're going to find somebody right now. Boop, boop.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
One of the really cool things I thought was CFI did put on, a workshop for the salespeople to go to, that they can actually learn and see what the installers are going through.
Yeah, they didn't get the traction right away. I think they only ended up with 4 people, but they didn't. The idea was materialized a little bit too late, so there wasn't really a lot of time to advertise for it. But yeah, they're definitely onto something on that. That was actually because there was only 4 people. We didn't actually have to participate, which I'm thankful that we didn't have to try to squeeze something else in. But I do feel bad that we weren't able to help everyone that we wanted to while we were there.
Well, we're going to get more opportunity, especially since CFI and FCICA's combining their convention this year. We mentioned it at the podcast last week on location. I cannot tell you how excited I am for that. I know that seems corny, but I'm serious. You're getting both sides of the industry coming together, and when I say both sides, I'm talking about a lot of more dominated company association with FCICA and a more dominated installer association with CFI coming together at one convention. To me, that seems like a winning, a winning equation.
It is.
So I'm excited for that. I hope our audience, some people come out and show up and grab some free merch from Go Carerra and get to know everybody because man, that's going to be fun.
I know, installers are all about the free merch. I'm over here repping the Great Alaskan Flooring Company. Good old Steve and all them were over there this year. It was nice hanging out with them.
Where did you did they have a booth or were they just handing out
No,
shirts?
it's a group of installers. Well, technically they're all encompassing company, kind of like us, right? We'll still go out and install, but they're salesmen and installers if they need to be.
Yeah.
So it was nice talking to them and just getting with the smaller companies like that because we're all going through the same thing. So we're all feeding ideas off each other too. So it's not only are you there to network and stuff like that, but it's where you're like, man, like this is what I'm going through, and someone always has an idea for everything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Well, one thing I kind of noticed is there's a huge uptick in the appreciation for the installer at the event. I noticed whether it's there was some I seen some news, some press releases on some retailers doing a apprenticeship style
Oh
program
yeah,
through
that's right
the
here locally. I believe it's DeGraff Interiors. So Deb DeGraff was there.
yeah.
And I think Crystal was there at that conference as well. That release of that news. So one of the local companies is going to start with. It's an education program. I think it's a 5-week training course. Is that what it is? They're starting with. So
Yeah, 5 or 10 week. I mean, it's obviously built on the criteria of the FCEF,
Yeah.
but so you can still qualify for scholarships. It looks like, at least
Yep.
from the press release I read. So, I mean, it's just cool that people are starting to understand. I think that your labor resources, and as you guys say, trade partners or
Yeah.
employee installers. The fact is that you have to build from the ground up. The stuff of building the trickle down kind of ideal. The problem with that is, if I'm trained as the president of my company, now I just have more work to do to try to train down, right?
Yes.
What if the baseline, the foundation of your company, if you look at that as your installer resources as your foundation, and it seems like that switch is starting to happen and companies are realizing like if you win at labor and you win at honoring and helping the install professional be more successful, whether that's an employee installer or a subcontractor or a trade partner. I like that term. The fact is if you build that foundation right, you can really grow your company because all of us know, I mean, it's inherently known that you're only going to be able to install what you can install through your labor resources. So you build that up. Most of us can sell the crud out of flooring. It's just, can you get it installed in a professional manner after you've
Right.
sold it?
Yeah, and
So
after that, they came out with that, and people ask us, "What do you think about it?" And we love it. Like they think that we look at it as like that's our competitor. I can't believe they're doing this, but at the same token, we're like, what can we do to help? Like,
Yeah.
this is great for the industry. It's not you against me. It's we're all in this together. And until people start looking at it like that, nothing is gonna end up healing in our industry. So
Right.
it's like, you know, we're we're fortunate enough to have the knowledge to be like, and part of CFI, NAFCT, and stuff like that, to where it's like, let us come help you. We can help in these classes.
We can learn in these classes.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows who's going to come down and train? So, hey, so quick shout out. So, Deb, Dean, Dave, whoever, Kay, Jim,
Jim,
if you guys
Jen.
need, Jen, you guys need some help with that. I mean, we're local. We're right here in the backyard. I mean, given our schedule, we'll do our best to make room to come and help out, or to come and sit in class and learn something. That's really what we want to do that. We need to
That's
do that.
awesome.
We need to lead by
Yeah.
example as well. So I'm more than willing to do that. So that's the shout out. So whoever sees it,
And that's
share it.
right, and that's where that trade partners comes in, because we're in the same trade, even though we do the same thing, right? We don't do as much residential as them, and they have a commercial and a residential division, but it's not like, I'm not trying to go and take all your work. We're that's what we're not about. We're not big enough
I
to
don't
do that.
that whole precept is a false narrative anyway. Like it's a there's more work than we can get done.
Yeah.
The fact is that there's no harm. There's not a lot of downside to sharing knowledge and making our industry better overall. So helping each other out is, I think, a key. I also want to say that having a lot of the union guys came by our booth, and that was awesome. It was so cool to talk to those
It
guys
was, and to
and not have a division. It was
Right.
like, what can we do to improve? I did get a question here from Paul Trenner asking, was the union doing a competition or demonstration? You guys were by there.
I
believe
think they
it's
were just
demonstration.
showcasing their apprentices. Like, this is where you can be at if you're only in here, for a certain amount of time. And they were in multiple levels of the apprenticeship program. So
There might have been a gift card involved for the one
for the winner,
for the one who did the best. I don't want to say the winner, but there might have been a gift
Well, I got
card
to
or
tell
something.
you, a 19-year-old dude doing sheet vinyl and impressing you guys, that's freaking awesome.
Well,
I mean, it shows you what can happen, just period, like from a training perspective. If you get trained young when your hands haven't gotten any bad habits or your mind gotten any bad habits, man, can you get good fast.
Well, granted, he was like a second or third generation.
yeah. So
installer,
they said that
so
his dad.
he was
He was
born-
like, on Christmas Eve, his dad made him go in the garage and do a bunch of work. And it's like, if you're going to get good, I mean, it's good to have a coach like that, right? Because it's no different than any sports. And it just makes sense. We always relate to sports. The podcast is called The Huddle. Man, it just makes so much sense. And actually, when I was talking about it to someone, and they just looked at me and they were like, I don't understand. Like, why is it called The Huddle?
Oh yeah, I overheard the conversation.
And it's like, this is how you have to think of it, right? You think of it in terms of sports, and this is Paul's. Like, he was like, this is the huddle. It's all about forward progress, and then you put it in terms of football, and that's what you're doing, man. It's all right. We're here. We're going for that next first down. Sometimes you get sacked, man. You get pushed back, but you're always reaching for that next first down. What can we do to get to that yellow line? That's all we're doing. It's one yellow line at a time until you get to the end, and then you gotta turn around, do it all over
yeah,
again.
you celebrate.
Yeah,
for a
the I've watched Urban Meyer in at a conference talk, and Peyton Manning and Lou Holtz even. The thing is that there's so much that it's why I love football, is just there's so many life lessons within there. Like, yeah, the quarterback's your quarterback, but I don't care how good he is if his offensive line sucks, right? So, and they're usually the ones that get. I almost think of installers as an offensive lineman because they don't get all the press, but man, they're the most important part, because it doesn't matter how good the quarterback is. It literally doesn't matter if the offensive line is terrible. And so there's just so many parallels to real life and business that, it makes sense. And frankly, that's what we do each week. We come together, we talk about solutions and what's our next play, and we go try to, execute on it. So yeah, keeping that forward progress going to me made a lot of sense in my heart on how we try to operate as a company and how we try to operate as a business.
Hey, shop
So
at the same store.
so yeah, so one of the things that I found really interesting and maybe my favorite part was the competition. Like every year, I love the installer competition, but I went over there a couple times and the freaking catwalk was
Oh,
packed.
packed, dude.
There was 2 or 3 times I went over there and I couldn't get up there. And so I
Dangerously
was like,
packed.
well,
I'm
I'll
like,
come back later. It was 3 deep watching the wood guys.
scratch my
Or
ear, sorry.
then the next thing you know, it's 3 deep watching the carpet guys. And I was I was blown away with the interest
Holy
in
moly,
that.
was that a challenge looking. Over 140 feet, 30 feet of seams in the carpet?
I think it was
Yeah, that
110.
carpet.
No, it was more
Was
than
it?
that. Oh my goodness. It was
Yeah.
more than a roll, yeah. Of tape. Holy smokes.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty crazy to watch. And I I I think this year, um, strategy, your approach to your pod was key. Like,
Staging. Yeah.
yeah, like
Staging.
how you approach it. I've seen some guys like, seam everything up and then glue the whole thing. I watched some guys do it, where they did it in sequence, where they did some gluing, they glued up to their tape, then they, utilized they seamed it after the glue was done with the cool glide. So the approach seemed like super particular. And anybody who hasn't been to it, it had like, what was it, probably 3 inch border,
They had a double
and
border, a double
yeah,
border,
double
like a
border,
6 inch and a 3 inch, and then,
and that 3 inch piece, they're pulling lines on them to see how straight it is, right?
yeah.
And measuring everything. And I watched some of the judging, which is a piece that I hadn't really, I mean, I've seen in the other competitions, but I really paid attention to how they were judging them this time. And I tell you what, it's pretty freaking cool when you go look at it. We have a assisted living client that they'll pull a dry line down to see if their patterns are matching all the way down a 200-foot hallway. So it is real
Kudos
life
to them.
in a lot of ways.
A little secret about me is the very first time I got a striping kit on my lawnmower, I pulled a mason line across my yard. I'm not even joking, because I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to be money, but after a little bit of practice, I didn't need it. So,
No,
That's funny.
just so you know how I am, because I probably would be that guy, and I wouldn't, or that person who pulls that line down the hall. They probably
Yeah.
did the same thing. Don't let them lie to you.
right. And someone that's been in the competition, when you look up and you see all those people, emotions get real. Things like your mind goes blank sometimes, and it's just like that's where you get, you see them and they're just down there. And he called me out on it. He's like, you're just there twiddling your thumbs on your leg. It's like, yeah, because I
Dude,
look up and it's
This is
like
what he's doing. It's
like let
dude.
me just try and bring this thought back. Like, don't pay attention, don't look up.
So you
But
got so many people watching,
Yeah.
the pressure's on.
shut up, Siri.
So yeah, that was cool. That's what I like kind of stood out the most to me was the 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 depth of people wanting to see this stuff happen. It was so I did enjoy that.
It's getting
And of
traction,
course,
man. It's getting traction, and I like seeing the difference. I know that COVID kind of put a damper on it, and then nothing for 2021. But even just compared to last year, after we had a little more freedom.
yeah, still last year wasn't quite like 2019, but this was very reminiscent of 2019's kind of traffic and even maybe more. So it sounded like a lot of people that were there, um, you know, uh, have the same feeling. And a thought just came to my head. If you didn't go, one other thing that you'll realize is that, like, I spent a little time with the floor cloud crew there. man, you miss out on some of these. Like I've seen their presentations before at another conference, which is where you get to know this stuff.
Hey, we were both there.
Yeah, exactly. And the coolest thing, it's they're coming up with some cool, like hugely beneficial tech for commercial in particular, where you can see. And I just want to give them a shout out because I think their product's awesome. But you can know the humidity and the ambient temperature and job site conditions of your job, and I may have mentioned this before, but it's like super cool that you can they now Bluetooth their sensors to the relative humidity sensors in the slab, and you can read that 4 or 5 hours away. It doesn't matter where you're at; you can get that information.
And you
So
can track all the changes.
Right, and before they came out with this, he's talking to Jason Spangler, and he's like, "This is what you should do," and Jason's just like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that is what
Yeah.
we should do." Like,
You know, sometimes I'm a little bit behind the eight ball, man. But you know, my intentions are pure.
yeah. So anyway, that's one of the reasons we're always like tout and get to the shows and convention because that's where you see that kind of stuff. There was also right next to me was a booth of now I don't know how far this tile is going to go, but they take recycled plastic and they mix it in with different things, and they've made ceramic tile, like a obviously it's not real ceramic or porcelain, but it got all the visuals. Uh, it's called sustainable, and that was kind of cool just to see that. Yeah, you see these new ideas of people trying to approach the market with a solution, whether or not it's a material solution, a technology solution, or a people solution with the FCEF or NTCA. They were doing a bunch of that's probably where you I would assume went to the mosaic.
yeah, it was in one of the stages. It wasn't in. I mean, everything was kind of separated, but the main stage being like, I walked 28 miles last week.
Oh, and you'll get your exercise, guys.
I know.
You show up, go to TISE, and you get your exercise.
One thing I do regret is I caught a back end of it, but I missed Sam's presentation for Mape. Like, that's one dude you got to see. If you're gonna go there, you got to go watch how animated that dude is.
And even if you want to see Sam, he's doing the NAFCT class coming up here in Georgia.
Oh, the prep
for their subfloor and substrate.
Yeah, substrate and subfloor. Yeah.
That dude, man, I went and visited him because I missed his stuff too, and I was like, "When's your next presentation?" He was like, "In like 15 minutes." But come check this out, and then we started talking about the LVT shower, and he was like, "I remember you guys when it first got introduced, and you guys are the only ones that really have one like in your showroom right now." He said, "But there's so much interest in it right now. It's crazy."
Yeah,
He's a presenter, man. I love just
Hey,
every company.
He's such a good communicator
Yes.
from the stage. It's really he's a talent for sure.
It's passion, right? Like, it's real. Like, people can pick up when you're just monotone and you're reading off something, but people also can pick up that positive energy, and that's just all he puts out. And if he's faking it, hey, that's a good job, dude. You need to get on soap opera.
I think I
or
still
something.
have his badge from one of the NAFCT events.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can freaking present, no doubt. But like you said, it's all about if it wasn't authentic, it wouldn't come off that way. That's why it does come off so well. Is he's so authentic, and he really knows what he's talking about. He's not a presenter. He comes from an installer. I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about when he's up there showing you how to do it. It is going to be the right way. He's going to give you all the backup of what ASTM standards and all this stuff, and it's like an encyclopedia up there for him. It's pretty cool.
It's nice to be surrounded by a lot of people who are very involved, and you can find whatever answer you're struggling with. If you don't have an answer and you're struggling, somebody will point the finger and lead you to the right person.
Yeah. Another cool thing was I noticed John Namba taking around a group of installers to different booths.
Yeah, they were doing tours.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, so
Well,
it
and
just
his and Susie was a judge this year,
Oh
first
yeah.
female judge.
that's awesome too. Yeah. Well, if anybody knows what to be looking for, she does. You know,
Yep.
And
I think
she's
that
better. She's better than him anyway, right?
And
She was the better installer.
yeah, he'll straight
More
up
than
tell
him.
you.
That's what everybody kept saying, man. So it must be true.
well, she definitely has been um influential. I think a lot of the women installers, obviously know that, that whole thing, that's another piece that you guys went to was the women in the
Flooring,
leadership conference, right?
the
Women in
Wi-Fi,
Well, we didn't go
women
to
in the
the.
Wi-Fi.
women in the
We went to
flooring
the first
industry.
one, the women's conference on Monday, but before it actually opened up.
I had one. I had
So
the
we actually did go
postcard
to that, and that
somewhere
was
still.
it's just eye opening, right? Like it just made me. I already realized it, but it solidified the different approach, men versus women, and they tie together the age gap and the difference in generations a lot better than men do, coming from a different aspect, and I think we can learn a lot from them. But it's just nice to be able to sit in that and be a part of it, be a fly on the wall and listen. Even though we always kind of try to sit in the front, and we're just ready to engage in conversation at any time. So
Well, I just told them, they were like, someone asked, right after, it was like, I don't remember exactly what they says, but why did you come to this? And I came here to learn from people smarter than me, and there's a lot of
Yes.
people, a lot of women in here that are smarter than I am. So I'm just here to learn.
Yeah, did you guys so that was on what, Friday night?
That
Was
was
it?
Monday morning.
Man.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that is a
My
fact.
Friday, since I was out of the office for that time frame. Yeah, so that was that evening. How many people were there?
Oh,
Yeah.
like probably had been like 50 or 60 people in there, and Michelle Winters I put a chicken emoji because Crystal brought a rubber chicken, and like awkward silence, she'd squeeze the rubber chicken. It's a thing now. We're the preferred flooring rubber chickens. That's our mascot.
You guys got to own it.
We have to.
Yep. Well, I know that, this is kind of a recap of TISE, and we shot live from TISE. The cool thing is, I do think that there was some good momentum there. It was fun to be there, but, having that installer kind of presence was noticeable to me. And we say it every week. Come to, do you guys remember the FCICA and CFI's dates?
I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, get there. I know that it's down in, that's in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, August. So what they're doing a joint venture for the CFI convention. They're going to combine forces, and I believe it's.
It's at the Rosin Shingle Creek. I knew
Yeah, it's
that.
been at the past few years.
Yeah.
So whether you're CFI or not, let's, show up to that show because you're going to learn, I think, a lot there.
September.
Tice was awesome, but this will be, I think, you'll get to communicate and get even closer with more of the installer network. We all get in our bubbles in our cities, but this is a chance to get out and get to know some other guys and gals in other areas and share your knowledge, and they'll share it with you. So Tice was fun. That's pretty much what this podcast was about, was touting the enjoyment of going to these conferences. So I can't make you go, but I sure hope that seeing the podcast there and seeing the people that are there and kind of getting to know that, as well as kind of this quick recap of our experience while we were there, maybe entices you a bit just to, go check it out,
How about
invest in yourself.
we just say, just come hang out with us.
Yeah,
You don't
come
have
hang
to
out
know,
with the
you don't even
with
have
the
to know
Gonzalez
anyone.
boys.
Come hang out with us. We'll hang out with you the whole time. I mean, it's kind of what we've been doing, right? We've just been trying to make people more comfortable because it does get a little intimidating. So
There's a lot of people there.
we like to be that familiar face.
We were. I was honored to be asked to be an ambassador at the welcoming party for first timers, and there were some people there who weren't first timers, but they were first timers to that group that came and joined. Another local company, Welch Tile and Marble, Dan Welch, the owner, came and showed up, and I directed some people his way.
And it's crazy. It was some of the people that he brought with him. Like, we live 20 minutes away, but I met him in Las Vegas. So
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
just-
seen Pruitt there, and he's like, "I got to go to Las Vegas to see you,"
right.
and he's right here in Wichita. So it looks like the convention September 20th through the 22nd. Thank you, Paul, for bringing that up. So yeah,
we had that up. By
let's
the
get
way.
to that convention. Again, you can come hang out with all the installers. You can come see Daniel and Jose, chat with them.
Everyone-
One of the things I will tell you is once you've formed a relationship, guys will help you. We help each other offline. I've said this before, but we actually talk offline sometimes and bounce ideas off of each other on how to help each other's actual flooring business outside of this podcast and outside of Go Carerra, our flooring companies. We talk about, how can we help each other get better? So I am always happy to help a new flooring company or even a tenured flooring company. If I have anything to offer, I'm willing to give it. So
Right. I was
I know
actually
you guys
talking
have always
to
been the
someone
same.
about that too when we were down there, and they were like, pretty much, what are you trying to get out of this? And that was one of the big things, was connecting with other installers. And I said I like to be that resource when people are thinking of, I have a question with sheet vinyl or something. It's like, let me call Preferred Flooring, and they were like, and you answer? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's why we put it out there. He was like,
Yeah.
how do you come up with the time? I said, most of the time it's, a 10-minute conversation. It doesn't take much, but if you know someone that can give you that information a lot faster than you can, try and reach out to someone. Especially, I've gotten calls 9, 10 o'clock at night, and it's like, I'm in a pinch. I just need a couple answers real quick, a couple pointers, and it's like, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
Call me and let me tomorrow and let me know how it turned out.
And just so everybody knows, like, we don't have all the answers. We're still learning as we go. We are still.
But you guys are great connectors too. It's like you guys have a real knack for connecting people when they're, if you don't have the answer, connecting them to someone who might. So, there's a lot of value in that as well. You don't always have the answer, but it's cool if because we get out and get to these things. We know someone who may know the answer, even if we don't.
Yeah, Michelle Winter says that we're all amazing and thanks us for everything that we do, but also
Michelle,
she's amazing,
she
and
is
we got to
very
thank her for
amazing.
everything
Yeah.
that she does.
yes.
Amen.
And I didn't even recognize her this time. I'm not going to lie. And I think I did tell her. I'm pretty sure I told her. Like, she said, Jose. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's Michelle. How you doing? Strong work, young lady. Awesome.
And then the NAFCT event we were talking about with Sam Biondo, and then actually Andy McWilliams and Kevin from Novalis are going to be doing resilient modular training too. That's February 21st through the 23rd in Georgia. So I went through that subfloor and substrate training. Hands down, like one of the best.
And when is
classes
that?
I've went to. It's this month, the 21st through the 23rd, at the new facility down in Georgia, I believe.
Awesome.
And thank you, Andy.
Oh, it says it's at the Mapei Adhesive Manufacturing Facility. So,
And thank you, Andy, for this fidget spinner ink pen.
yeah.
Now, nothing. I don't even use pen, but I'm gonna sit here and just spin it all day.
All day long.
Gotta put it down. I was walking around Vegas doing that. People were just like, "What is that noise?"
I was at a meeting yesterday,
Now I got to get one.
and the guy he was playing with his pen the whole time, and it wasn't until after I said, "You gotta check this out." And he was like, "I need one."
So drawn to it.
That's
So
awesome.
That's another thing to add too. Like when you're traveling and you go to an event like this, and you surround yourself with people who are trying to increase their knowledge and trying to make other connections, you do get revitalized a bit. I'm not gonna lie. If you can't tell everyone, we're kind of excited to be back home and kind of tell everyone what we felt and what we learned there, but you have to find more reasons to go than more reasons not to be honest with you. Like, it's just, you have to find a way. It's hard. Yes, we know that. Not everyone has that capability, and fortunately for us, we've kind of made it a point to do that. We try to plan ahead a little bit, but we kind
Yeah,
of
make it a priority.
yeah,
Yeah.
we make it a priority, and this year we didn't. Not gonna lie, we were like on the fence. Are we going? We're not going. Like, I got this
And-
going on.
And then we said, "We gotta go see Paul." There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
And then I didn't even see you that much down there. I was happy we were able to have breakfast together on the last day, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then, shout out to Mohawk too, because they did do the installer appreciation event over there at
I
the
missed it.
competition. Having Alana there has actually, her talking to us, and Mohawk's been getting really big into the install side. So shout out to Alana and Mohawk for hosting that. We don't.
Yeah, I'm
drink-
impressed with
we don't
Alana's.
drink beer, but thanks for the beer for everyone else.
Yeah, we did a little divide and conquer. We made appearances at separate presentations at the same time. So, just you got to make your way
Well,
around.
A little further shout out. I am impressed with that. With Alana's leadership at her age, it's
No kidding. I think
it's pretty impressive. So, yeah, get out and meet some folks. Again, I know that we didn't talk a lot about the actual any flooring install techniques or anything. We'll come out and have some podcasts that are more in depth on actual flooring techniques and stuff. But what we're trying to say is getting to convention is where you learn a lot of that stuff, and whether it's TISE or the CFI, FCICA's combined convention coming up. I'm a big believer that the installers that get there, they tend to just have. I'll say they tend to just have a better beat on their business.
Yeah,
It's
there was
eye-opening.
a couple brothers there, right? And I started talking to them. They're on the tile side, and they started their company about 18 months ago. And I don't remember their names because you're like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Forgot your name already. That's me." But they were awesome, man.
You should give everybody name tags, guys. Like,
And
Yeah, no doubt.
Like I'm talking to them, and we're just going over the business aspect of things and how we started and where we're at now. And after about an hour, I said, "You know what? I've been talking a lot." And one of the brothers said, he said, "We're not technically on the same side of the industry because we got these silos that we're all in." But he was like, "This is exactly what I came here for." So like, even if they're not installing the same things, man, business is business. And especially when you're talking to someone else that's a pair of brothers that come in, and even Jose and Luis too, and they said that they take a lot from this podcast. Actually, they were like, they listened to the podcast, and when we were talking about like branding and putting it on your shirts and stuff, he said we really took that and they showed up with hats and shirts, and it's like, that's awesome,
all
man.
from a conversation we had last year.
That's what we need. People are listening. Look, Jose right here.
Hey, what's up?
I was humbled with how many people came up and said they watched the podcast. It was very humbling. We don't always have the most attendees on the podcast, and people consume in their own way. but whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, I had so many people come up and say they love the podcast, and we had multiple people that we're gonna have on this year, that want to be on and talk about their experience in our industry, and it was real humbling. It was cool because we just get on here, chat about the industry and chat about our experiences. And it's a reminder people are listening, and so showing up, it really invigorated me to show up at on the podcast, like be present and really try to bring value as much as possible, because there are people that listen and go
Yeah.
actually do it, and they'll change your business because of it.
A
And
little embarrassing thing for me too is after the women's event on Monday, we went up for a get together afterwards, and a young lady came up to me and was like, "Oh, hey, your name's Jose, preferred flooring." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, I listen to the podcast all the time," and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She was like, "Aren't you on the Huddle?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I am. I am so sorry." I said, "So here's the thing is, I feel like it's just me, my brother, and our boy Paul getting together and just talking. So it doesn't really feel
You
like
forget
we're
that
doing."
it's all out there all the
Yeah,
time.
so I forget about
Yeah,
that. So yeah, that was so thanks everyone for watching.
that's hilarious.
I'm so sorry about that. I got her card, and yeah, I need to reach out to her because that brain fart moment, because it's just like this is just real talk and we're just hanging out, and it's just something we love to do. So
Right, and even
Yeah.
at the end, like there there was someone that you see there all the time, right? And I think I have this card here somewhere.
we'll just wait while you find it.
Yeah, now you gotta wait on me. But it's you see him there, and yeah, Mike. So I've seen him there, these past few years, and we always say hi and everything. And before he left, he said, "Daniel, I got to give you my card because I love everything that you guys are doing, and if you're ever in the neighborhood, we want you to come visit." And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll make sure we bring everyone, we bring the whole family."
Free
He
labor.
said,
Free
"You
labor.
can only come if you bring the whole family. Like, I want to meet everyone."
So there was a caveat to it.
Yeah,
Bring the whole family. Well, I think that with all that said, it's like when we come on, when you come on and you start, like you said, Jose, you just kind of start rapping with each other. Fact is people find value in authenticity, and that's what we do. We're just talking about our experiences. And so again, it was humbling, and I want to tell everybody thank you so much for participating. And if you do like the value we bring, the best way to show us that is like and subscribe, hit that thumbs up button on whatever platform that you're watching it on, and help us grow the channel and get it out to more
yeah.
people.
Build that
That's
network,
the
even
purpose.
from here on out, and come to these events and sign up for Go Carerra because it's free for installers. I mean, there's no point not to.
That's right. Yeah, just to build on that, like you just said, Daniel, I mean, there is absolutely zero cost to the installer to sign up, build their profile, get their hammer rating, and build their online presence, so to speak. It's like a calling card. There's no cost. The only cost is upon settled payment. So I always say, like, the worst thing that could happen is you see a work order that you really want to do, you do the work, and you get paid. Like, there's only that's the worst that could happen. If you don't, you still have that as a third party verification when you're trying to sell yourself to someone above somebody else. Like, there's a lot of clout to that. So
And
I
they're gonna want these
appreciate that.
shirts. They're gonna want these shirts that we were talking about.
Yes.
I mean, even so, I didn't realize, right?
You got a bag of
I'm
goodies.
gonna
back
I'm
there,
gonna
man.
plug this shirt right here because I'm gonna have to, like, not only is this shirt awesome, right?
Yes.
I didn't realize that it has this mesh right here
Oh,
for sweat. Like, it's a mesh.
I didn't even realize that either. I was
It's
today
like one of the
years old.
best shirts.
It's see-through.
I've ever.
Yeah, that's the most comfortable shirt. I almost
That's Let's see
I
if they're
almost
there.
wish that all of our shirts were that material. That
Right.
material is absolutely awesome.
This is the material we make our work shirts out of as well, but it doesn't.
And
have
I
this
tell you
metal
what,
right
let
here.
me make an offer. Next week, if you're consuming this somewhere else, if you come on the huddle next week and just say put in the Q&A huddle shirt, I'll send you one of them shirts.
And we are getting ready for a giveaway at some point too.
Hey, you
Yep.
extra large guys, just let you know, an extra large ran a little bit small. My midsection was
stretchy.
popping out. Yeah, it's stretchable material. I mean, it was still comfortable, but visually, I didn't want to scare anybody away, so I had to
You
jump up.
scare everyone away anyway.
That is true.
Well, with that, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. And I want to again thank you guys for all the value you bring to the flooring industry. It's been awesome
Paul, thank
getting
you,
to know
man.
you guys over the
Without
last
you,
year.
we wouldn't even be sitting here
Yeah.
talking about it right now.
Thank you for creating.
Well,
that
I appreciate
platform,
that.
man. Thank you for creating that platform for all of us to do our best and lift everyone up and help elevate. It's the least
Well,
we
it's a
can
team
do.
effort. It's a team effort, and that's why we
Trade
call it
partners,
the huddle.
right?
Trade
Trade partners.
We're all in it together. Let's all become partners.
There you go. All right, guys. So next week, Tuesday, 3 o'clock, same place, same time, and we will catch you guys later.
All right. See ya.
Take it easy, brother.
All right. Bye, everyone.